So the other day I was out in Zurich shooting some street photography with my friend Chris, who is a beginner photographer, and I taught him something that completely changed his photography. So have a look at this.
Liam, what are you shooting on? What's your drive mode?
My drive mode, what are you talking about?
Like
high plus.
Sorry, your focus area.
I have my focus mode go down, that one.
What is that?
It's lock on, so it locks onto your subject, and then I have autofocus continuous.
It'll track what you're shooting it at, but I can't see. So
Is he shooting bangers now?
I'm shooting bangers, boys. I'm
just figured out
I'm shooting bangers.
So yeah, as you can see, we got bangers, and I want you to get bangers as well. So by the end of this video, you're going to understand what focus modes to use and when to use them. So starting off with AFC, which is autofocus continuous. You want to use this when you're doing street photography or any sort of photography where there is a moving subject. This is because with AFC, your autofocus is constantly going to be adjusting. Also, depending on your camera, if you use one of the newer Sony cameras, you will have this. It's called autofocus tracking. So this is an absolute weapon when it comes to street photography especially. It determines where your subject is and then it locks onto that whilst continually focusing. So you can pan your camera as the subject is moving, but your autofocus will maintain focus on the subject. Next up, AFS, autofocus single. So if you're doing photography where you and the subject are not going to be moving, this means that when you half press the shutter button, the autofocus is going to lock onto the subject and that's where your focus is going to be. And then when you're still half pressing it, you can sort of move the camera around and the focus isn't going to continuously change. Then you have AFA, which is autofocus automatic, and I wouldn't really use this one, to be honest, because when it comes to photography, you want to be in control of your focus mode, because if you're taking photos of a moving subject, but your camera thinks that it's a still subject, you're going to miss a shot because the camera messed it up. So you always want to be in control of that. So I would stick to AFC, AFS, or the next one, which is not even AF, it's just manual focus. I mainly use autofocus manual. I use manual focus when I'm taking photos of like a long exposure overpass and any situation where your camera's on a tripod and the subject is not moving. So it can even be for landscape photos as well. For example, if I'm going to be taking 10 photos of this overpass to get different long exposures and I want to stack them in post, I want all of the focuses to be exactly the same. And because I know I'm not going to be moving and the subject isn't moving, I don't have to worry about the focus being in or out. I know that once I manually focus, I can just leave it and it's going to be staying there and all the photos are going to be in focus. So in summary, I use autofocus continuous when there's a moving subject like street photography or if I'm shooting cars that are flying by, and I also use the tracking mode with that if your camera has it. Then I use AFS when I want to lock onto a subject that isn't going to be moving, so then I can readjust my composition as well. And then we use manual focus when I'm not going to be moving, I've got one composition and the subject is not going to be moving either. Alright, now it's up to you to go out and take some photos, and if they still end up out of focus, you're probably just a shit photographer. But it's all good because you can talk to other creative people about photography in our Discord server, the Creator Society, and I'm going to be linking that in the description below. That is all for today. As always, don't think, just do.